Hold up.
Every day I wake up, wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, indeed.
We got the brother Ninth Wonder. He's back. And Reuben, Vincent back. What's up, guys?
Yes,
How y'all
sir.
feeling, man?
What's
How's
happening?
everything?
All is well, man.
I love seeing this because I always feel like the younger lyricists need to get with the OG veteran producers like somebody like Ninth and create magic. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I don't think that there's, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that there's anybody that can, do for Reuben what a Ninth could. Sound-wise.
What you think, Reuben?
I agree. Just being real. I mean, I don't think it's been done on this level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like, there's been a few folks that might have did records, but it's either sending the beats off and then they over there like we really sat in the studio with each other. You know what I mean? I moved in the studio for 6 months sleeping on the couch. So it was like, he going to his crib, but I wake up, go to the gym, he pull up at 12 o'clock and we just really, the synergy was there. You know what I mean? So I think this is the first of its kind for sure.
Ninth, when do you have the time? Because you're also a professor. Like, when do you have the time? I've seen Ninth so many times, and it really never has to do with music. It's always I'm at a school speaking or something like that.
Or basketball.
Or basketball.
One of the two, yeah.
Yeah, when do you have the time, brother?
Man, that's the beauty about living in North Carolina, dog. Like, there's no rat race to run, really. And so I kind of, I teach twice a week. I teach at Duke on Wednesdays and Wake Forest University on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, the rest of the week is either comprised of doing stuff with basketball or just making music. And so that's how I deal with it. But I think the biggest thing between me and him is, well, teaching has helped me do that too. Teaching has helped me understand the next generation way more than anybody else. Most people only deal with like 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds that's like family members, blah, blah, blah. And they use those people to like put a blanket on how every 18-year-old acts. Me, I've been looking at 18-year-olds and 22-year-olds since, 19 years now? This is my 19th year teaching. So an 18-year-old in 2006, and an 18-year-old in 2016, and an 18-year-old in 2025, them three different 18-year-olds.
Of course.
So I kind of look at it that way. But the thing about me and him is a lot of people don't think that these two generations can't communicate well.
Facts.
And that's kind of, we debunked that with this. I mean, even when I first met him, that's how it's been. But we kind of, getting away to, as far as time, yeah, man. I'm just real focused. Charlamagne, no, I'm just real focused on what I do, what I need to do. I like serving the culture all the time. And yeah, man, if I'm not helping the culture, then I'm taking away from it.
I feel like with hip hop though, young men like Reuben are trying to do what y'all already did. So they gotta come to you for that sound. You can't say, man, I want to make an Illmatic. I want to make something that sound like Reasonable Doubt. I want to make something that sound like the first Little Brother album. Like you gotta come to the people who did that then.
Yeah, man. I think it's each one teach one. You know what I mean? And they talk about, they say it didn't exist, but the Willie Lynch letter. But you know what I'm saying? It's real common to what really happens. You know what I'm saying? From breaking generations apart and separating us, but. I had my father. We didn't live in the same house, but, he always used to pick me up on weekends. So I know how to take a person's counsel, you know what I mean? And I also, too, is like, I'm a sponge, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm willing to learn, you know what I mean? Where I feel like, some people my age, they'll be turned off and try to cool. But I think for me, it's just like, I want to know. And then also, too, they were our age when they were making the Illmatics. They were our age when they was making the Reasonable Doubts, you know what I mean? They make it seem like now, me being 24 and me being like having depth to my lyrics or wisdom is like whoa, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you sound like an old nigga, but it's like
Pop was dead at 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, it's not uncommon, you know what I mean? And it's only right that, you go tap in with the pioneers who've been there before because they the only ones that can tell you. You know what I mean? You sitting and listening to somebody who ain't never done it don't make no sense to me.
Is there a place for lyricists in this game to be at the top of the game, right? And the reason I say that is you mentioned Jay, you mentioned Nas, you could talk Pac, you could talk Big.
Yeah.
They were lyricists, but they were top and people respected them as being the top. You can look at Outkast and even T.I., like they were a top, but now it seems like that lyricist they put in a box.
With Outkast, man, we have to understand with Outkast, it took a couple of albums for everybody to truly respect Outkast.
Correct.
That wasn't from the South. I mean, Southern Playalistic, okay. You know what happened at Source Awards. Then ATLNs. It wasn't until they got to
Aquemini.
Aquemini and Stankonia that everybody was like, okay, you know what I mean? But even with Big and Jay, that's kind of where hip hop was taking a turn. You know, before that, hip hop wasn't as commercial everywhere, like whatever. But when Big and Jay came, especially when Jay came along, then DMX, and now we're looking at hip hop. More people that don't look like us is listening to hip hop way more than ever. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what that was. But I think it's, man, I'm gonna say this, man. I just love, and I remember. I know we all do. Remember when the culture was ours? We had our own validation points. If you were on Rap City, Yo MTV Raps,
That's right.
Arsenio Hall Show, Soul Train, in the back of the Jet magazine, the albums, the singles, they showed your house in Ebony. If you were on those,
Cover the Source.
the cover of the Source, Essence magazine.
Double XL.
If you were in the hair salons, the barbershop, the music.
Yep.
If you went outside with your homies after church and played whatever you was listening in the car, if you were in all those places at one time, that's validation enough.
You made it. Yeah, that's right.
You made it. You know what I mean?
Mixtape, you made it. Yeah.
And it's not trying to say because I'm here. This is one of the few last rites of passages for people. Y'all look like us. You know what I mean? And you got to come through here to be validated. We need more of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so when we say mainstream top of the game, this is a part of the top of the game right here, to me.
And I also feel like when you talk about lyricists,
Thank you too, Knight, for that.
I also feel like when you talk about lyricists, you got to know how to make a song. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing with this album that people gonna see from me. Like, we was just talking about it where they was like, what was the turning point for you? Where a lot of people, we did a listening on Friday and everybody was like, yo, you really like showed your songwriting, you know, on here, and like you have choruses, and it's like, now you could tell you a lot of the time it was just me in the studio, you know what I mean, by myself. So I feel like a lot of the lyricists at this time is still proving they trying to rap on their records, and they're not giving nothing that people can relate to or people can feel. It's always, I'm just trying to show you I can do this crazy wordplay. Like, nah, I want to make records that you gonna play Monday through Friday when you on the way to work, when you on the way to school, you getting ready, you know what I mean? Or even before the party, you know what I'm saying? Or at the party, you know what I mean? And I think this album, that was the example. And I feel like that's the only way a lyricist can really reach them heights, is if they know how to make a record.
And they got to be taught, right?
Yeah.
You watch Nas, and Nas will tell you, I don't know if it was tragedy, but taught him how to make a song.
Right.
Like, this is the components to make a song. I love Big. Big is probably my favorite artist ever.
Right.
Him and Jay. But I don't know if Puff wasn't there. I don't know if Big knew how to make those type of songs.
Facts.
And how to break down those songs.
It would have been that, and
It would have been Party and Bull, but
Yeah.
Puff taught him, like, no, you need to make a song like this. You need a hook. You need this. And I feel like that's what's missing a lot
Absolutely.
of times in this game.
Kobe Bryant needed a Phil Jackson, and that's my Phil Jackson.
Dre, Snoop needed Dre.
Facts.
For sure.
So what is the creative process like? And
You know what?
making this project. that
Making
comes
this
out?
project,
Yes.
well,
Welcome home.
welcome home. I called Reuben in a special place. Reuben came to me and said, man, you seen the Lego movie? I said, I saw it, one for Pharrell. He's like, yeah.
The Pharrell one. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, man, I ain't know Pharrell was close to Tribe like that he revered Tribe Called Quest. I'm like, yeah. He said, that's who I am. I come from that. I'm not like, yeah. Like, I knew this whole time. I'm just letting him realize. He's like, you know, sometimes you have to step out the way and let you figure it out on your own. But then while we're recording it, we're recording. We thought we was done. Reuben started falling for somebody. Okay, all right. And so I'm coming in the studio. You always got to catch them where they are. I'm coming in the studio. He on the phone. He FaceTime me on the phone.
Oh, you love Jones and
Boo
on that
loving
phone.
like a
Cupcake at work. Cupcake at work. And I'm like, you know, but I have to catch him where he is. So now all my beats start to turn a certain way for him to talk about what he wanted to talk about, that he found somebody. And I thought that was amazing, which something we talked about. There's nothing wrong with talking about embracing black women on your project.
Yeah, young men don't do that a lot. And I think even the routine, again, like right before, like he said, he let me figure it out on my own when I first got my deal with Rock, and I was moving around. I was in LA, and then, you know, I started to see how weird the industry can get. And then, you know, a lot of people was in my ear like, you need to make this type of record and this type of record that don't necessarily fit who I am. So when I watched the Lego movie, I was like, oh, this is my tree. I come from the tree of Tribe. I come from the tree of Kanye West in his early stages. I come from that tree. Okay, let me navigate that and you know, study and really figure it out. But then also too, my mom and like living in Charlotte, you know, my mom, she's an African mother, you know, she's from Liberia. So she was always supportive of me, but the industry started to change. Money started to slow up at a little bit, and she's like, yo, you either got to go back to school or get a job. And I was like, I ain't doing none of that. You know what I mean? So I called Knife. We talked about it. He was like, yo, just come down to Raleigh. Sleeping on the couch for 6 months. My routine was I wake up, say my prayers, go to the gym. By the time I get back from the gym, I take a shower because we have a shower at the studio, which is a blessing. Like, there's a lot of artists can't say they have a mentor who has a whole studio that you don't got to pay for studio time. So I'm going to take all advantage. You know what I mean?
You don't know if you don't have to pay for it yet. Wait until you see that. You don't know if you wait till you might be an invoice coming later.
Right, $1 million come in. It's like, hold on. Nah, but then after that, you know, like he'll probably get to the studio around 12 o'clock, and we'll sit there, we'll discuss, talk about, you know, what movies remind us of home, what music videos that our favorite rap music videos. Then we going through samples, you know what I mean? So the way the studio is set up, Knife got his beat room, and then we got the recording room, and then we got the living area where I used to sleep at. But Knife will come in around 12 o'clock. We'll sit there, chop it up, maybe watch some basketball, watch some videos. He finds some samples. He make the beat. I'm sitting there. He gonna air it. He's like, all right, I'm gonna airdrop it to the big computer. I'm gonna run to the other room, accept it on the big computer, record. Then he gonna be in there watching basketball. 30 minutes later, I come back around. I think I got something. Yeah, and then he'd come in there, hear it, and then do what he does as a producer. And then
what made you want to work with him though, Reuben? I mean, Knife, because I'm sure it's a million artists that come to you, especially in North Carolina. Like,
now we got
yo, Knife, I want to get with you. I want to do something with you.
Okay, so I was on tour in Germany and had the day off. And I was doing an Ask Ninth on Twitter. And somebody said to me, I ain't got no question. It's this kid you need to listen to. I have no dog in this fight.
I don't know this kid.
And usually, I know how it goes. Some people trying to get their family members on.
You don't know this kid, but that's your uncle.
That's your exactly. Right. But he did not know. The dude was from Oakland.
I never had been to Oakland. Yeah, I was 13 at the time.
13. And he sent me the link, and I listened to it. I was like, man. And I think one of the rhymes, he said something about Cool G rap. And I'm like, hold on, bro. Like, you're 13 years old. So then I shot him an inboxes on Twitter. And I said, yo, is this? He's like, yeah, how you doing, man? And I was like, hey, where's your parents? And so he put his mom on, and I was like, I'll be home in a couple of weeks. I got home. They showed up, him and his mom showed up in my studio. I dapped him up. He's about this tall. And I said, man, you want something to eat? What you say?
I just want some Pop-Tarts, some strawberry milk, and some pizza. 13-year-old diet. 13-year-old diet, literally.
But it kind of went from there. And the first song we did was a song called Extraterrestrial. And I looked at my president, my man Cash. I said, man, he ain't breathing. He's just rapping. He's not breathing. And you did 9 songs that weekend.
In 3 days.
And made a beat
on a machine that I had never touched before that
he's
week.
Different.
What got you in the Tribe?
Damn,
was
really?
it that Lego movie?
No, beforehand.
So what put you on the Tribe and Cool G rap and in that era of music? Because
I can see you playing Fife in a biopic. Too.
I would love to.
I ain't never thought about it until y'all said it just now.
I would love to. So my father, you know, again, both my parents are from West Africa, Liberia. And when he came to the States, he lived in New York for a little bit, and he moved to North Carolina and met my mom. So to give a little bit of background,
the Queens. Jesus, you're talking farmers and
I gotta ask. Yeah,
dirty queen like you.
Yeah,
you talking
I gotta ask him.
Queens.
Yeah, I probably gotta ask him. But he went from my dad experienced the Liberian Civil War in the 90s, so he was a refugee, came to America, still very young. While my mom, she got here when she was 16 and lived in the DMV before moving to Charlotte. But her dad fought in the war, passed away in the war, all of that. But when he came down, a lot of he said in Africa they used to listen to a lot of Tupac and Biggie during the war. And so when they had me, granted they had like separated when I was born, my dad always used to pick me up on the weekends, and he used to have a blue Cadillac, and he would drive me around playing All Eyes on Me, Ready to Die, Blueprint, Get Rich or Die Trying. So that was the way me and my dad bonded when I was 4 years old. So then by the time I was able to write, I wrote my first rap when I was 5 years old. And so I already had a little bit of knowledge, and my dad gifted me late registration when I was 6, 7 years old. So when those little moments were like rabbit holes for me, because then by the time I was like 10, 11, YouTube was available. So now I'm looking up, okay, late registration, okay, Blueprint, okay, Reasonable Doubt, okay, then the recommended, Nas, Illmatic. Then it's like, oh, Cool G Rap. Then it's like, oh, Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. I just started going down a rabbit hole and just became like super like, just like floored with everything. You know what I mean? So by the time I met Ninth, I was already like so knee deep into like what I liked. And then also too, around the same time I was 11, 12 years old, Joey Badass started emerging on the scene. You know what I mean? And you know what he was doing at the time. Absolutely. So, you know, I was just like, it was floored, and I just started to do my deep dives.
I wanted to ask you, what artists, I'm glad you said Joey, because what artists, I guess, from your generation reminded you of that?
Obviously Joey, Kendrick Lamar, Cole, Earl Sweatshirt in the early times. Still to this time. I was big on them like super early. You know what I mean? The Wale's, like all of them, like that era, the blog era was like where like I really dived deep into like who they were. Those were like the ones who raised me outside of like the 90s.
So how do you balance being lyrical and cultural in a time when music rewards virality over vocabulary?
Well, I know I'm playing a different game. I know I'm playing a long game. I know that I've seen in the last 3 years people get viral and get lit and then go on the next day. You know, so I know that there's no foundation to that. Where like, you know, what I'm doing, I know that 10 years from now I'm gonna be able to stand on and be able to like, you know, live off of still. Because, you know, I'm taking the route. You know, I've been patient this long. I've been patient since 13. You know what I mean? So why would I stop being patient now just to go do something that's not gonna make me fulfilled at the end of the day?
What do you think, Knife? Like how should artists balance being lyrical in a time when it's all about going viral over actually rapping?
I think, first of all, artists shouldn't be afraid. A lot of artists are afraid to try. They rather do what they think will work instead of running a marathon. But I also believe, and this comes from me teaching, we cannot get lost on the fact that there is a generation of kids, young adults, that want to hear what you're talking about. They want to hear it. It's out there. Like, I see them all the time. I see them in my classes. And on top of that, it's crazy to say, me and his mother are the same age. So now you're dealing with the generation that's the offspring of Generation X. So now what are we playing in our cars, right? We're playing all of these classic records and they're picking it up when they're very young and taking it on. You know what I mean? So we can't assume there's a generation of kids that don't want to hear it. It may not be as big as this generation of kids that want to hear this over here, but it's there. When Tribe was Tribe, you had Tribe's fan base, but then you had Ice Cube's fan base. Not to say Cube was on something way different, but Cube was, had a larger fan base. Doesn't mean the Native Tongues didn't have their own fan base. And you see what the Native Tongues fan base birthed. Rest in peace, D'Angelo, right? It birthed an entire... Q-Tip has his own family tree by itself, bro. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot deny that there's kids out there that want to hear soulful and feel good music. Not necessarily preachy all the time, because I think we need to separate conscious and feel good.
It's sometimes not preachy at all.
It's not. No. Sometimes we put conscious and a warm feel good beat in the same box. But then you have Slum Village that talked about a threesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't do, you know what I'm saying? So we have to kind of get out of that, man. It's young adults that want to hear something different.
But do you think
who's the Q-Tip family tree? I can't just, you got to teach now. I can't just let you say that. Who break down the Q-Tip family tree?
Oh man, so the Q-Tip family tree, Q-Tip was one of the first ones to not sample funk and soul only, right? Q-Tip was one of the ones like, I'm a sample an artist by the name of Cal Jader, and I'm a sample an artist by the name of Les McCann and Freddie Hubbard. Because Q-Tip grew up in a neighborhood of jazz musicians.
You got the jazz.
Exactly. And so that euphoric feel, like I always say, Bonita Applebum is like the tree of life for everything after it. So if Bonita Apple Bum is not made, we're not getting. Well, first of all, with our tribe, we're not getting Outkast.
Facts.
That's a fact.
Right? They said it. They said it all. All the time. We're not getting Outkast. We're not getting the Roots. We're not getting Badu. We're not getting Jill. We're not getting Little Brother. We're not getting D'Angelo. We're not getting this thing called Neo Soul. We're not getting
Kanye West.
We're not getting Kanye West.
Kanye.
We're not getting anything that feels euphoric and feels good. We're not getting that because chord changes wasn't in hip hop in 89, 88. We was just talking about Public Enemy. It was just you know what I'm saying, what Night Living Bass is. But Q-Tip, when he sampled those chord changes and all of that, that's what made everybody turn the corner. And we owe a lot to that dude for making that turn and making the music that he did. Well, making the music that Tribe did.
So why? I agree with you, but damn, where did De La come into play?
So De La was, of course, De La was before that, and Jungle Brothers before that. Native Tongues movement. Also, Queen Latifah was in that box. You know what I mean? Tribe was more. It was a different thing from De La. De La was way left to center, right? You know what I mean?
So I think Tribe, and this is gonna sound crazy because De La was from Long Island and
More street. Tribe was.
Tribe was more street.
Tribe was more street.
Because remember, Tribe is really, they're from farmers.
They're from
you know what I
Queen,
mean?
yeah, Linden Boulevard.
Like you go up a little bit, that's LL Cool J's area. You go to
Exactly.
the left a little bit, that's
Right.
50 Cent in them. So they were more street than De La, I would say.
And you noticed it because when De La and Tribe kind of dressed the same on their first, on 3 feet, and People's Instinctive, they dressed the same. By the time Tribe did Low End Theory, it's baseball jerseys and hats, bro.
Facts.
Like they totally just changed everything, and even the production of like I said, Q-Tip. He says, I made Low End Theory drums sound the way they sounded because I heard NWA's second album. So he was listening to, you know what I mean? But you got these thunderous drums, but then you got this weather report sample on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a different thing. But that feeling has extended itself for now 30 plus years now.
You know, I was thinking out, you could be a Tribe Called Quest fan and a Cool G Rap fan back in the day, right? You could be a Tribe fan and a Mob fan.
Facts.
It seems like now they put you in the box where you can't.
Man.
Because back then I listened to Tribe growing up, but then I listened to Mobb Deep. But then I listened to Cool G Rap. But then I listened to Kane. But now I feel like it's lanes where they try to stick you with, like, I can only listen to Reuben because I can't. If I listen to Reuben, I can't listen to.
And that's not even how I was raised, right? So like, as much as I'm giving y'all all the influences of like the Outkast, the Tribes, the Nas's, and then giving y'all the blog era, I still went to an HBCU where I was lit when they played No Hands in the club. You know what I mean? And I was listening to Chief Keef and stuff like that. So I feel like that's why I'm able, and I'm glad he said. I went to A&T.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that's why even I say I'm so much Tribe is because, yes, I loved everything I just named. I love art. I love Pan-Africanism. Everything on me is designed by an African designer. You know what I mean? This is my man's, my DJ's, brand. But at this,
real, basically.
Yeah. So and then at
You're retarded.
Keep going. Just ignore him.
I let it rock. I let it rock.
Just ignore him. Just
But at the same time, like I'm not a street in the streets at all, but I had cousins in the streets. You know what I mean? Like I grew up around all of it, so I embrace it all, and you hear it in my music, the things I talk about. I'm not sitting there like, conscious peace be and all of that stuff. It's like, no, it's
burn
real.
Incense. You burn some incense.
No, I ain't burning no incense. You know what I mean? Like I watch Friday just as much as I might watch the Malcolm X autobiography. You know what I mean? So
You know what's crazy though? Coming from the Carolinas and Ninth, at least growing up, we didn't have there was no Carolina sound.
No.
We weren't like Atlanta or New York where we had hip hop that we could gravitate towards. We listened to everything.
Yeah, Killer Mike said the same thing. We had to listen to everything. And North Carolina is second when it comes to number of HBCUs. Alabama's first, North Carolina second. So you got to think of all the music that's coming from all these places that's being played in the dorms. I remember on my dorm room hall, I went to North Carolina Central, and I stayed in a hall called Chili Hall. It was a dude from D.C., Detroit, Baltimore. Then it was like all in the same hall. So you walking down the hall hearing Go-Go, Baltimore House.
DC, that go-go shit down the street.
Right.
But
You
yeah,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
DMV, yep, go-go.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So it's all of that all of those things, and you're hearing everything at one time. And like you said, yo, you can tell a lot about people, man, when you open a CD book, dog.
Word.
When you flip that CD book, flap, flap, flap. When you see that, I had a Too Short album, a Tribe album, that Tony Braxton first album, Souls of Mischief album, and Ice Cube The Predator, like all at the same time. I think now, like you said, I don't think a lot of people are fans of the culture. They're just fans of a person. For us, if we were fans of hip hop, that means we checking out everybody. But the filter was different. We not facing 700,000 new songs a week on streaming either. We didn't face that.
That's real.
We didn't face that. So.
And that's the sad thing, because you can't hear everything. And that's the difficult part, because it's like, life be life. And like before, it was like, I remember listening to, let's say, Nori's album or Fuji's album or whatever. It lasted the summer. It was like 4 albums that lasted the summer. And you rocked through, I drove to school in it. I drove back to school in it. And now it's like, the way music goes, like even with Clip's album is one of my favorite albums now. But I haven't heard Clip's album in about a month now, because I'm listening to new stuff, which is crazy, because there's so many new things that come out.
Yeah, one of my students told me, said, Professor Knife, you got to understand, like, I got 15 albums in the queue I ain't listened to last week. And I'm like, golly. I think one of our greatest release dates was September 29th, 1998. That is
Outkast,
Aquemini, Outkast, all the same day.
Jay-Z,
Hov,
Hard Knock Life. Hard Knock Life.
Hard Knock Life. Yeah.
Tribe, The Love Movement, and Most Def Quality of Black Star. Like all this came, Brand Nubian Foundation, all came out on one day. So we're going to the store like, I got about $15. How much you got, dog? You got about 15. You get Aquemini, I'll get. And so now we got to share it. You know what I mean?
You're forgetting one thing too. Looking in that Source magazine, saying we gotta get Aquemini because they got 5.
They got 5 mics.
You gotta get Jay because that's Jay, and he had just got 4.5.
That's right.
Knock Life. Gotta get these two. Everybody else I catch later.
It's different.
But then you heard the most in Talib from somebody else who was like, oh, I gotta go get that.
Right.
See, we was on Canal Street. We go get the bootleg. We get all 4 for $15. We got all 4 for $15.
Who was selling them?
Right.
Who was selling them?
I don't know.
Who was selling them?
We all African, y'all.
The Africans had
We all African.
We all African. We all African.
Naif, how does the classroom compare to the studio when it comes to influence?
It's the same thing for me. The classroom has taught me how to communicate, dog. Like it has really taught me how to communicate and communicate. I can't talk to every artist the same way. They don't learn the same way. So in the classroom, I'm standing in front of my hip hop class on Wednesdays at Duke, man, in the spring is 140 kids. So I'm sitting there looking at 140 kids, and I have to get through every kid, whether it be the black kid, whether it be the white kid. You can't assume every kid that takes my class will want to do this. And especially, man, at Duke, man, I got girls in my class is like neurosurgeon, whatever. I'm going to be a neurosurgeon, but I wanted to take your class. You know what I mean? That knows nothing about the culture at all, and except the one person they listen to.
And you teach hip hop history for people that don't know, right? Hip hop
history. I teach 3 classes at Duke. I teach hip hop history. I teach black cinema of the '90s, where we watch all the black cinema of the '90s, like Love Jones, Juice, all that. And the hardest class to get into is my hip hop production class. We just straight make beats and talk about the art of production for a semester. But it has taught me how to not only communicate, but how the next generation thinks when it comes to consuming music. What do they think? Our qualifiers ain't the same. Who we think are great rappers and why, and who they think are great rappers and why is 2 different reasons. And we try to force our reasons on them, and it don't work. Like, you know what I mean? So that's truly helped me out a lot.
When you work with people like Jay-Z on Thread or Erykah Badu on Honey, how do you stay true to like that artist's iconic sound, but still staying true to you as a producer?
You know what? The turning point for me, man, was when I did Girl by Destiny's Child. That was the one. What I did Girl and the She the Reason. And when I got in the studio with B looked at me and was like, B was there the night when I played beats for Jay in 2003.
Wow.
She was there. And when we got in the studio in 2004, I was like, what do you want I'm thinking, what do you want from me? Because again, we talk about labels. I'm looked at as the backpack nigga to make stuff on computer. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looked at. And I'm like, what do you want from me? Because they had Survivor out and can you pay my bills? I'm like, what do I fit into this? And she said, I want you to do you, but I also want you to think about us as the Emotions, the 70s group, the R&B group. Damn. And I was like, wow. So I was like, well, how can I bring that up to and so Is She the Reason and Girl, I made them records thinking about SWV. And so I do that with every artist. And I did it with him. His album is a combination of 3 or 4 albums in my head together.
And what are those albums?
I can't tell you that.
We'll tell you off air. We don't want nobody stealing the sauce.
I can't tell you that.
And who was the most difficult artist to work with? And when I mean difficult, not as in wild out and crazy, but just that artist was tooth and nail, wanted it done a particular way.
You know what? Somebody's asked me this question the other day. I've been lucky, man. I've been very lucky to be in the studio with. Jay wasn't tough at all. Jay was the pressure cooker, man. I had 25 minutes to make that beat. Same thing with Destiny's Child. That was the #1 girl group in the world at one point. Mary J. Blige, same deal. Erykah Badu, same deal. Kendrick, Anderson .Paak. I've been lucky. When you making like great music and soul music, man, and you working with professionals. But once I got to like Anderson .Paak and Kendrick, now I'm not the young one in the studio just waiting for the chance. Now I'm controlling the session. So I've been lucky, man. I've been very, very lucky when it comes to working with artists.
I want to ask you, Reuben, like in 2025, what truth does your music need to tell right now? That's my other issue with a lot of this generation, with everything going on in the world. I feel like nobody's reflecting that with art.
I mean, I think the biggest truth is telling the young black experience of me just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting on the album like I'm gonna shoot you or I'm lying like I got $1 million in the bank. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you exactly what it is. I'm telling you my real human experience, my real story. And I think that's why I'm so excited for this album to come out, because I think it's gonna shift music in that way, because I feel like we haven't, and excuse me if I'm wrong, we haven't had somebody from my age group just talk about their human experience. You know what I mean? And everybody's trying to be a facade and, you know, hold up a mask and, you know, try to be something that they're really not. And everybody's really searching, you know what I mean? And I feel like with this album, you know, I talk about, you know, my upbringing, you know, with my heritage, you know, talking about being from West Africa, seeing, you know, my uncles talk about the war. I talk about, you know, my desires and aspirations, me coming from an HBCU. I talk about, you know, embracing the black woman. I talk about my mother, you know what I mean? I talk about my family heritage, and I just talk about, you know, I have a song called I'm Good, where it's like, you know, when people ask you how you doing, you just, oh, I'm good. But in the verses, I'm like giving detail of like, no, there's stuff wrong, but every time you ask, I'm good. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's needed. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what I want to do. Just tell like true human experiences, be honest. You know what I mean? Because I feel like honesty is going to take me further than being something I'm not. That's why I went with my real name, for my artist name. So,
And it doesn't, and also too, we need everybody's story. We need his,
facts.
like, you know what I'm saying? We need your story, like NBA Youngboy story. That's his human experience.
Facts, yeah.
We need that. Like, we need, you know, I don't like when, you know, when people say, oh, we got to have this and not this and this and that. We need a balance, man. Like, I cannot stop a kid from telling their story, whatever that story is. You know what I mean? So we need it all. I need his. I need young boys. I need it, man. I need it. We had it. What's the difference? You know what I'm saying?
So what does Black Genius look like in hip hop today for you, Nate?
Oh God.
And who's carrying the torch after you tell us?
Oh, Black Genius.
Yeah.
Shoo. I mean, he's one. I think it goes without saying that Kendrick is another one.
Absolutely.
Right. There's a few out there, man. I'm trying to get out of the hip hop box, man. I like black music, y'all. You know what I mean? I really like black music. I was talking to Nala about, we was having a conversation about this album and that album. It's all about black music. I think we lost an incredible genius the other day, man, last Tuesday.
D'Angelo?
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
man. And you know, for me and what he's done, it's him, Stevie, and Prince. Like, I don't think anybody could have seen this man the last 30 years of music, man. When it comes to black music, it's him at the top. But I mean, that's what it is, man. I just like black music, man. And it's a lot of black geniuses out there that goes across genre, you know, not just hip hop. You know what I mean?
I want to see more producers. Speaking of black, you know, music. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong. I want to see more people inspired by what Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway was doing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Man,
It's the fit. It's
that feeling.
It's called
man.
The Feeling, y'all.
Oh,
it's
shout
called
out.
The Feeling, and that's where we try to do on this album is create a feeling. It's like a lot of music lacks that particular euphoric. The thing about D'Angelo, man, and which a lot of us was raised in the church, that feeling is not in music now, and it doesn't mean it can't be there. That feeling has been there since James Brown, man. It's been there since Temptations, like, and it showed up in so many different ways, whether it be through Reuben, whether it be through a SZA, whether it be through Solange, whether it be through Cleo Soul, who I love.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that feeling is there, and I think hip hop and the feeling has got separated over time, which it used to be like this, because in the 90s, hip hop had samples in them. That was the feeling. No matter what the subject matter was on the top.
Facts.
So I think this just has the, you know, that got that feel good, man. Nothing wrong with that.
And then it's also, how do you keep people's legacies alive, right? Because I swear, since D'Angelo died, you can just be out and you'll hear somebody humming a D'Angelo song. Like,
Right.
I'm talking about humming. I'm
Right.
not talking about just you hearing a real. I've been around people and they just.
Yo, last night I was at the Odell show, and as soon as he got off, they played Brown Sugar.
Shouts
I'm
to
like,
what I'm
Odell.
saying?
Shouts to Odell. He's
Yeah,
another
Odell's
one.
for
Odell's
sure.
another one.
But my thing is, where is that when these people are here? Like, how do you keep that alive? Is it Urban AC Radio? Like, what is it? What happened to the
Yes.
12 o'clock throwback mix on
Yeah,
radio
you know what I
station?
mean. You know, that's a corporate conversation, man. We can head out, but nah,
Yes, we can. Go talk, knife.
nah. I mean, I'm saying, man, like we got to bring, DJ Envy. We have to bring DJs were the spokesman for the hood, man, or for black people on what was good and what was not. Everybody ain't good.
No.
Word.
Right? Just because you made it, it ain't good. Everybody's not. I know music is subjective. All right, cool. Everybody's not. DJs was supposed to be the ones that told us what was good and what was not. We trusted the DJ. It's been like that since the beginning of hip hop. And so that's what we need, man. And we can't abandon. We can't get a certain age and just say, man, I don't want to hear that old stuff anymore. Other cultures don't do that, bro.
Nah.
They don't take a special ed and throw them to the back burner. Whoever the country version of special ed is, whoever the country version of Big Daddy Kane is, they don't throw them to the back burner. We need to make sure our legends are great and revered, just like they do in the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, on any other genre. The Rolling Stones still rocking because people are still going. For us, it's out with the old, in with the new. That's a thing about black people because we so creative. We just on to the next so fast. We cannot abandon who got us here and who continues to still do music. It's up to us. We cannot wait on anybody else to do it but us, bro.
And they're starting with the stations, because growing up, no matter what market you in, it was always a classic rock station.
Right.
I was always going to have that, and we're starting to get that now.
We
with,
are.
with 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
hip hop stations and things like
Well,
that.
the reality is all urban adult contemporary stations have to do is just update the playlist. Like old school now is what we came up on in the 90s and the early 2000s, but they still playing, and they should, but they playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. And like,
Yeah.
that's a
Still.
little bit
But that's
too
why I'm glad
throwback.
that we do on Fridays. We do have Pastor Arce with Nala, because Nala Simona's put me on to you. Like that, she's how I found you, and Odell, and a lot of other artists that she has put me on with. So the DJs definitely, you got DJs with good ears, man. That's like, look, you put your ear to the music, and these are the things that you feel are like kind of rare. She putting them out there every Friday. Like I said, she put me on to you and a lot of other people that I listen to now. So
It's important. It's important. I even think, like you just said, I think, y'all do a great job of that, just having her on Friday doing the Pastor Ox. And I think it needs to be more, because even like Envy, I just saw a video where you was the first person to play Hit 'Em Up. You know what I mean? And I feel like,
Allegedly. That's his story.
don't give him that credit.
I don't know. I ain't heard nobody else say that, I gotta hear
Nobody else will go against it.
And then he sat over there and accepted it too. Like, I sure did.
No, I heard the tape.
And I tell you, I mean, I said I got it from Charlamagne XL. I used to produce
I love
it.
it.
He gave it to me, left the studio, gave it to me. His first DJ to play it.
Yeah.
First time I heard it was on a Dirty Harry, man.
Definitely wasn't.
Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry, though.
But nah, like real talk, like I just feel like, you know, you like again, she does it incredibly with Pastor Ox, but I feel like, you know, we need to honor the young DJs and, you know, allow them to have that space because, you know, they're going to be the ones putting us on the music now. You know what I mean? Just like you were Who Kid, you know, Clue, like, you know, it needs to continue. Again, each one teach one. You know what I mean? So I'm with you.
It's wild because now when you watch NFL games, you watch NBA games, when they go to commercial, they playing like Nothing But a G Thing and a War Tour. And I remember when Jalen Rose was, you know, the NBA a commentator, like I said, man, I wonder if Jalen Rose got influence in what they playing when they go to commercial break. Because they play Who Got the Props one day, and I was like, wait a minute, bro. But I think Jimmy Fallon is a prime example of where we are in the time continuum because to be the Tonight Show host and your band be the Roots tells you everything. And he always says Black Thought's my favorite rapper, Talib Kweli is my second favorite rapper. And he's 50 years old? So, I mean, I think we just need to do more of that, man. We just cannot abandon our classics like that.
Yeah.
I agree. A couple more questions for you, Reuben. You said Knife taught you a lot of discipline. What's the hardest lesson he gave you that you didn't want to hear at the time?
Ooh. Honestly, man, don't listen to people who ain't never did it. You know what I mean? And granted, you know, I always took his counsel, Guru's counsel.
Shouts to Young Guru, man.
Our label president, Cash counsel. But I think, you know, I had a unique situation because I met them super early. So I didn't really put other people's like opinions and stuff over theirs. Like I'll always go back to them and be like, yo, such and such said something to me. What you think? You know what I mean? And they'll be like, man, but there were certain times where people would try to get in my ear, you know what I mean? And be like, oh, don't do this and don't do that or move this way. And, oh, you don't need to be making them type of records, you know what I mean? It's not going to get you nowhere and stuff like that. Or just trying to tell me stuff and they ain't never did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't never been in that position. You ain't never did it for you to be trying to, and I think, you know, that came with age and like, you know, growing up. But, you know, when you young and, you know, you around your friends and, you know, they trying to, you trying to feel accepted. You know what I mean? And then you realize, like, I'm sitting in this dorm room with y'all, and y'all trying to tell me when I'm about to go on the weekend to LA and possibly be in the studio with Terrence Martin and all of them, and y'all ain't never been in the studio with these folk. You know what I mean? So I just had to navigate that. But as I got older, you know, it was off to the races with that. And then also, too, I think another thing is discipline-wise is, you know, just staying true to who you are. And, you know, it's going to take longer, but if you continue to be yourself and just follow the course, he said that since the day he's met me. Stay the course. You stay the course, it's going to pay off. You know what I mean? There's been times where, you know, I'm like, man, it's not working out. You know what I mean? Maybe I just need to quit, you know, give up. And, you know, a week later, Swizz Beatz hits my phone and stuff like that. You know, just stuff like that. So I think he's always told me to stay the course, and it was hard because, you know, you young and you want it. Yeah, and then you seeing your peers like shoot up, you know what I mean? And I've seen that a lot. So I think, you know, staying the course is one of another hard things.
Yeah, Swizz Beatz hit your phone when you were 16, by the way.
Yeah, facts.
And, you know, people describe you, Reuben, as a bridge between eras. Do you ever feel pressure to carry that responsibility, or do you want to redefine it?
I want to redefine it. I think I am a bridge because, again, like, you know, I've taken counsel, and I'm not a person who's stuck up and stubborn and have an ego where I can't listen to any of y'all in the room trying to give me some game. You know, I'm always trying to soak up the game because I know I got years to, you know, fulfill still. You know, I know I'm still super young, and I'd rather listen to somebody who's been around the block and know a few things than me go make some mistakes that probably won't help me in the long run. But I think I want to redefine it because, you know, they have a stigma on lyrical rappers, you know what I mean, how we dress, how we move and stuff like that. And I think me being young, you know, knowing what's in, but also still being true to myself, you know, it shows in my style. It shows in how I dress. It shows in how I appear, you know what I'm saying, when I come off. And I think, you know, redefining it for 2025, I'm not trying to do what folks did in the 90s. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give y'all the same feeling y'all felt when y'all heard AT Aliens and the Criminal, but I'm not trying to recreate that. I'm trying to make a Reuben Vincent 2025. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who are your peers? Who is considered your peers?
Marco Plus.
Okay.
You know, yes, Chris Patrick, Kai Cash, Nico Brim, Suave, Mavi. He was another one from Charlotte. Those are a few people that's my peers that's up and coming right now. That's in my class.
Knife, what lane do you think Reuben owns that none of them can duplicate?
I think it's the way he talks about black women. I think that was I know it's not about recreating the 90s, but I think that's something that has left. You know what I mean? Like just the banter and conversation. Honey, check it out. You got me mad. I want a girl with extensions in the hair, Baron Williams. Like that. Like it's the way he does it. You know what I mean?
Trying to milk it, I'm a spoil.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Because we've had that conversation a lot, man. There's this narrative that's going around that young black, not all young brothers, some young brothers only want to be around women when it's time to get intimate, and that's it.
They love pussy but hate women.
Facts.
No conversation, no nothing, no none of that. You know what I mean? In HBCU culture, we didn't grow up like that. We trying to go chill, you know what I mean, and have conversation and blah, 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 blah.
I got 5 sisters, you know, so I feel like that influences me a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So for him, it's the way to me, I think he's if 10 Crack Commandments was a thing for dope dealers that Biggie put out, he's giving that his version in like 3 or 4 songs on this album. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to say. But he's not telling you this is what I'm doing. So if I'm doing it, hopefully it can influence not only a 24-year-old, but it may be a 15-year-old that picks up his album. You know what I mean? So I think that the way he approaches it in a fun, lighthearted kind of way and just being unapologetic about feeling for somebody in a positive light, what's wrong with that, man? Yeah. And I think he does that better than anybody right now, his age.
What's your favorite Tribe record?
The album or just in general? Tribe record. Oh My God, Lyrics to Go.
Oh My God.
Yeah, those are 2 of the top ones. Honestly, Midnight Marauders from top to bottom is just crazy. But
favorite G-Rap record?
Fast Lane with Nas. That's my, just because I'm a big Nas fan. Yo, I got guns, facility, smoke trees. You know what I mean? Like the way he came on there, and just the beat. So those are 2 of my favorite records from them.
Can Nas perform at the Super Bowl?
Knife.
Nah, man.
Let me answer first, then I'm gonna come to you, Knife.
Okay.
Not what you want to see.
Yeah. I was about to say I'm a
mind you, think about some of them white people perform. You know half their songs.
That's why. Yeah,
but they make up 80% of the population.
The jury.
Okay,
don't
so
jury.
This is my opinion.
I'm listening.
Nas, I think Nas, it just depends on his song selection.
Could he do it? Yes or no?
Yes. Okay. Song selection though. It got to be song selection.
For me, it's song selection. It's a song selection with any artist, man. That's what it is. If it was perfect the way Dre did it, and had different. If Nas does it in a way, it's songs. But we also we have to be realistic. We're dealing with the Super Bowl, man, and it is a majority of people that watch it, and majority of people that can even go. Because I think this is what we get lost on this too. I know we at home watching it, but you also got to think about the people that's at the game who paid that ticket to get in. So that's what it's going to be. I think it needs to be not only one halftime show. I think it needs to be several shows around the Super Bowl, period. Maybe before the show, maybe after the show. But I think if he places it,
he got to place it the right way.
It has to be placed the right way. Shouts to Adam Blackstone, because Adam Blackstone is fantastic musical director that did the Dre show, that did the Rihanna show. Like, he knows what he's doing. So if he got with Adam Blackstone, I think he could.
Also, I love Nas. Nas is one of my top 5 favorite rappers of all time. But when I see people say things like, if Dre and Snoop can do it, Nas can do it. I'm like, do y'all realize how big Dre and Snoop was?
Yeah, that's a different conversation.
What are y'all talking about?
It's a different combo.
But
it's a different combo.
I do feel like
different
Nas
combo.
can do one mic. I know I can, and
the
I think if you do If I Rule the World, bring out Lauryn Hill. There's ways to.
And that's what I mean.
There's ways
song
to do
selection,
it.
yeah.
But with
Just what you
Looking at
think.
him like-
What you think?
I think as a feature, I think Uchiwali would kill him. You know what I mean? I think
Are we doing Uchiwali at the Super Bowl?
You can't do Uchiwali at the Super Bowl.
You played it
All right, now let me
Why
ask
would you play
y'all.
Nas hits?
Are y'all letting him do You Owe Me?
at the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking.
No.
I
Just
know I
we
can.
They gonna be doing. They
Just
gonna
we doing Uchi
I know
Wale
I
at the
can.
Super Bowl.
One mic. If I rule the world.
The world is yours.
You know how much people hated
You don't think so?
Stuck in the house.
I would do
now.
those jobs, but I'll bring
I'm
out
in the
Lauryn
house.
Hill.
I mean,
Reuben,
you
you know how
right.
much people hated You Owe Me when You Owe Me.
I know. That's why I'm like, would y'all let
That
him
was
get
the
it all?
that-
a terrible.
If I was there, I'm up for it though.
Nostradamus got
Uchi Wale.
shitted on when it came out.
Y'all don't think they'll be
What?
them old white folks would be in that shorty?
No.
Maybe now.
And then he bring out Genuine.
Oh Lord.
I just got a couple more questions. Knife, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
Okay.
May the Lord watch.
Okay.
Everybody wanted to know why Knife Wonder didn't participate in the Little Brother documentary.
That's a long story. I don't think we got that kind of time. But I will say this, man. You talking about the documentary?
Yes, why you didn't participate? In the
Yeah, that's a long story. We got that. But I will say this. And
We
I
do
s-
have as much time as you want.
No, we're not doing that.
I
We're
forgot
not
they
doing
was
that.
up here and we had that conversation. That was a while
we're
ago,
not
a
doing
long
that.
time ago.
I'm gonna say this, and sometimes people think I say something for political reasons. Y'all watch me for years. Both of y'all have watched me for years. I have never been a person to go online and in public to try, not to say that they did that to me, but to deface and talk negative about another man or woman. That's never been my thing.
Fact.
And that's their feeling. That's how they respect. And you have to respect how they feel about everything or whatever. But as far as their success, as far as we being a part of each other's history, I cannot change that at all. We have our own. Little Brother has our own children. Kendrick, Drake,
Facts.
Cole,
That's a fact.
Big Sean,
Reuben Vincent.
Wale, Reuben Vincent. We got our own children, right? So, again, it's a story behind it, but I believe in family business, bro. That's just how I was raised. That's how I am. And, we're at the age now, I'm 50 years old, bro. Y'all know how this goes, man. We lose people every day, bro. We're losing family members. Listen, God bless them brothers, man. Let them keep doing what they're doing. I think they are on tour right now. They got shows. They're still doing shows. Phonte is incredibly talented, although we may have disagreements or whatever.
Right.
Incredibly talented.
One of the illest pins.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I've seen Pooh go from being one artist, to one rapper, to another rapper, to the level that he is. We've made magic, and without me, they've made magic. And I'm leaving it at that, man. I believe it. Look, bro, I'm serving something else now, bro. This is how I am.
What would a Little Brother mean to you, Reuben? A Little Brother reunion.
I mean, I seen it. I seen it happen. How old was I? 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they came to Durham, I was backstage. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, and I think it was dope because it was something for North Carolina. You know what I mean? They also raised me just as much as Tribe did, Slum Village, Kanye. You know what I mean? Like they were a part of that. Again, like he said, I think the biggest thing is, one thing I could say about Ninth, and this is not even just because he's sitting right here. I would have said this if I would have did this interview alone. It's just how spiritually and how he's handled the situation with grace. And I think that's another thing that I've learned from him, even with people around me. You got to move with grace. And I would love, I'm just me being a fan. Obviously, I would have loved for it, you know what I mean? But we definitely in a different time now, you know what I mean? And it's a new time, it's a new regime, it's a new place, you know what I mean? And it's just, you gotta, sometimes the history is supposed to be where it is, and people supposed to move on, and that's what it is to me.
Without no Phonte Coleman would not be a Drake.
Facts.
That's a fact.
Drake completely 1,000%. He says it a million times. Studied him, revered him, imitated him. Everything we know about Drake rapping and singing is Phonte Coleman.
Phonte and Joe Budden.
Huh?
Phonte and Joe Budden.
Phonte Coleman. And Button's my man. But that, again, going back, listen, man, like, that's how it is with me. I got to keep moving, man. I didn't see the documentary at all. I never watched it. I've heard about it from everybody. But I got to keep it moving, man. I cannot stay in that space. We don't have the time on this earth. to stay in that space. I got work to do. This is my work now. I got other work to do as well. This is my label, Jamla. That's what it is. But again, salute them brothers, man. God bless them brothers, man. That's how they feel. They had the right to express it. I didn't go online and say anything about it when it came out. I heard everything about it, blah, blah, blah. Difference of opinion, and we move on.
My last question. If hip-hop is a conversation across generations, right, what message are you two trying to send back to the culture with Welcome Home?
Oof. If hip-hop is a conversation, that the feeling is not lost. You can continue to give the feeling, and there's not a division between a generation. There's not a division, man. We have more in common than you think, especially if you're on the same wavelengths. And I really want the elders, not old ends and elders is two different things. Everybody
old niggas and elders.
Yeah. Everybody ain't an elder and an OG, man. And sometimes OGs, sometimes old niggas want to talk down to the young ones and try to give them advice, and they ain't about to take that from everybody. You know what I mean?
Leave them alone, bro.
Leave them alone, bro. Look, the NBA YoungBoy concert is coming to Raleigh, North Carolina, man. Old niggas stay home. We go out there and get hurt. And you go out there and get hurt, but like, you know, that's not for us, bro. We don't do a good job of giving the young ones their space. The VIP belongs to them now. The streets belong to them now. We are on the sidewalk. So I think what I want our album to do is that you can have a relationship. This can work. Whatever this is, we are 25 years apart. This can work, and music can be made with this. That's the biggest thing I want to get across, man.
And I think for me, whether you are an NBA YoungBoy, whether you are a Reuben Vincent, whether you are any other name that I can name right now, show up as yourself. Show up as yourself and perform at a high level, regardless of who you are. You know what I mean? Regardless of the background you come from, but show up as yourself. And I think with Welcome Home, I showed up 100% Reuben. Everybody always say, you know, Reuben, you have an old soul and stuff like that. And this is stuff I've been dealing with since I was a kid. You know what I mean? I remember being made fun of, you know what I mean, for like going to my bus stop and I'm like, yo, have y'all heard Illmatic? And they're like, bro, we on this Chief Keef. I don't know what the hell you talking about. And I embrace Chief Keef too. I still listen to Chief Keef to this day, but they, you know, I would get looked at a certain way if I came and I'm like, yo, y'all gotta listen to Illmatic. Y'all gotta listen to Reasonable Doubt. Y'all gotta listen to, not even just those, y'all gotta listen to Pimp a Butterfly. And they like, ain't nobody trying to hear that, but show up as yourself, you know what I mean? And it's like, yo, I want to perform at a high level in rap. I'm not sitting here, I ain't rapping to just drive a Honda Accord, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm gonna do it as myself. I ain't here to compromise, none of that. But I am gonna be one of the greatest in my generation. I'm gonna say that. That's just a fact. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna do it being 100% Reuben Vincent. I'm gonna always rep Africa. I'm gonna always rep Charlotte. And I'm gonna always rep showing up as yourself. And that's exactly what this album is about.
Hey.
All right, well, get it. This,
what you want to hear right
Friday.
now, man? What we gonna play? We gonna play Dre and Sydney. What's the joint with the? That's not that I'll Be Sure sample.
Gotta Get It.
Yeah, gotta get it.
Yeah.
Which one y'all want?
Ooh,
It's up to you, man.
You pick it.
So let's do both of them.
Yeah, I was about to say let's do both.
That's my joint. Gotta
Yeah.
get
Well, let's get
Dre
to it
and
now.
Sydney fire, but gotta get it is my joint.
It's Reuben Vincent, Ninth Wonder. We appreciate you, brothers.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, man.
Album comes out this Friday. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Yeah.
Hold up. Every day I wake up, wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?